Yo, what's going on guys, Arekkz here, welcome back to another Division video. And in today's video we are once again turning our attention to another one of the new classified gear sets. Yesterday we took a look at the brand new classified striker gear set, which has some really interesting concepts, but as it currently exists, the 6-piece effectively gives you God mode. You are as close to being invincible as you can probably get in this game, so it definitely needs to be addressed, definitely needs to be balanced, but it's still an interesting set nonetheless. So if you haven't seen that, I will link it down below, but today we are turning our attention to the Reclaimer set. Of course, the set that focuses around the support station. Now, for those of you guys hoping to see Sentry, Lone Star, or Deadeye, as a heads up, I'm going to be holding out on those three until next week, because in the patch notes, they've clearly stated that those three sets are currently broken, and some of the kind of final 6-piece implementation is not currently in place. So until PTS 2 comes out, which is the one that will also coincide with consoles, I won't be covering those three sets. So hang tight for a little bit. I will of course review them once they are officially in and working, but until then, we're going to focus on these ones. So if you do enjoy this, then a like would be super appreciated. Comment down below if you have any questions, and also let me know what you guys think of the set. Now to begin with, as a reminder, the design philosophy behind the classified gear sets and the 5 and 6 piece is to effectively enhance the sort of fantasy of the set. So given that Reclaimer focuses around the support station, focuses around you being sort of this healer focused player, then 5 and 6 are designed to amplify that even further and turn you into effectively a sort of healing god, so to speak, within of course reason. So, with that being said, let's dive a little bit deeper. Of course, the set, as I said yesterday, does look identical. There is no kind of visual differences between the classified set and the normal set. It is, of course, nice to see all 6 pieces together, but of course, do bear in mind that you are, to go full classified, you're going to have to sacrifice some of those potential, say, 2 slots you'd normally dedicate to a high-end or an exotic. Now, to begin with, for those of you guys that need a little recap, the Reclaimer 2-piece gives you plus 30% support station range, meaning that people don't have to group quite so tightly to your support station to gain the benefit of it. Your 3-piece then gives you plus 50% support station duration, so provided it doesn't get destroyed by an enemy or yourself, then you can keep it running for a little bit longer. And then as for your 4-piece, this is of course the one that kind of gives the set its name, and that is that the support station gains the benefit of the life support, immunizer, and ammo cache mods at the same time. And as a reminder for those ones, life support is of course the one that automatically revives downed allies, so you don't actually have to crawl to the box and interact with it to get your revive. Immunizer is the one that removes all status effects and makes you immune whilst you're within the affected area. And ammo cache allows you and your allies to regain ammo as they reload, again within the affected field, and your skill cooldowns are faster. So that is Reclaimer as we've always come to know and love it. That is how it exists in game right now. And again, don't forget that you can of course get to the 4-piece with a combination of existing Reclaimer pieces and new classified pieces. However, if you want the 5 and 6 pieces, you're going to need to go all classified. You're going to have to spec fully into Reclaimer, dedicate yourself to the Reclaimer cause, and of course throw away any high-ends or exotics that you would normally slot into those extra slots. This is full-on Reclaimer. Your 5-piece for this one will then give you an additional 15% support station range on top of what you already have, and an additional 25 support station duration, again on top of what you already have. So that brings the grand total up to 45% support station range and 75% support station duration, when you of course combine it with the 2 and 3 pieces. So as a very quick demonstration, this is of course what the support station looks like as the kind of default range if you don't have any of the set pieces applied. But if you then throw on the 2-piece, then this is what it's like with a 30% range extension. And then finally with the 5-piece on, this is with the full 45% range increase. So you can of course see the area is pretty wide, and of course if you place the support station in a useful place, a place that is say behind cover, near your team, then they can spread out pretty far and still gain the benefit of this. However, the 6-piece, now this is the one that gets a little bit interesting. First up, you get a few more stat increases. You get plus 50% support station revive time, so you revive much faster, and again don't forget, because we have the 4-piece active, this is an auto revive, you don't have to interact with it, so the second you go down, if you're in the field, you're going to be reviving very, very quickly. We'll get onto that a little bit later. On top of that, you'll also get plus 100% support station healing speed, and plus 100% support station health. So it has more health, and it heals at a faster rate. However, on top of that, you also get the bonus that the support station gains a 25% chance to have no cooldown triggered when it is destroyed by an enemy. Now this chance is increased by 2% for every 1,000 electronics. So in my case, I've got 5k electronics, which then gives me an additional 10% chance on top. So interesting, yes, but it is tied to chance. So that is the Reclaimer, the classified Reclaimer, as it currently exists. Now I tested this again, running through the usual array of challenge mode missions, a few legendaries, things like that, and it does once again put you in a rather interesting position, a position where you can afford to play considerably more recklessly than you would before. I do want to recap that I have taken this Reclaimer set as it came from the cache. I've done no recalibration whatsoever. Of course, recalibration for classified gear sets is a little bit broken until PTS 2, so I've left them exactly as they are. I literally just bought a cache and threw on all the pieces, so there is absolutely no recalibration or min-maxing applied. I've just thrown in my default set of gear mods, just a few things like firearms, health, first aid, self-heal, those kind of things, but aside from that, it is a bog standard set. So this is basically as average as you can get on the classified front. So, with that being said, I have then been able to go into challenge mode missions and stand out in the open with my support station hidden behind, say, a car, and then I'm effectively in a position where I don't really have to worry about incoming damage. Now, contrary to, say, the Striker set that I reviewed yesterday, it's not that the healing speed outweighs the incoming damage. On the contrary, I am definitely able to go down when I'm standing in my support station radius. However, because of the rate at which I am then able to revive, it is very easy for me to just sit there, ignoring cover, ignoring any incoming damage, just firing at the enemies. The second I drop, I am then back up within a couple of seconds. I can then continue firing. Of course, bear in mind when I get back up, I'm at full health. So it is very possible, as you can clearly see here in the gameplay, for me to completely ignore the need to hide behind cover, to then, play strategically. I can just stand there and I can just shoot until I go down, get back up and continue shooting. Now, that in itself does feel quite cool at certain situations, but you do need to think about kind of how it affects some of the end game, the higher end content. Because of course, the rate at which you get back up does of course then mean it's quite easy to effectively circumvent a lot of the mechanics that are associated with some of the end game content, and it does make a mockery of some of the kind of difficulty elements. Now, to break it down for its components, this is where I think the Reclaimer set currently stands. On the healing speed front, some people may say the healing speed is a little bit too much, but to be honest, when you consider that you are going to have to go fully into Reclaimer, you're going to have to throw away potentially 2 high-end pieces that could give you a better build overall. To go all that way in, I don't really think that the 100% healing speed is actually the issue here. Given the fact that it doesn't out-heal the incoming damage like, say, Striker does, then I don't really think it is the main issue. So in truth, I'm actually kind of okay with the healing speed as it currently exists. And also bear in mind, this set, while I haven't min-maxed it, is still pretty heavy in the electronics front, so it's definitely at least got a decent amount of weight in that attribute. However, the issues with this set are twofold. The first one is with the chance perk, only triggered on enemy destruction, not your own. So to be clear, the only way you will get that 25% chance for the cooldown to instantly refresh on the support station is if an enemy destroys the support station. If you destroy it, you manually detonate it, you will never gain that bonus, which fundamentally goes against the grain in the way you play Reclaimer. I mean, typically if you have a support station, you put it behind a car, you put it somewhere safe, you put it on the roof of a building, the roof of a truck, somewhere that is not going to get shot immediately because you want it to be up so your whole team can benefit from it. And then if it's about to be destroyed, you will typically manually detonate it yourself so you can then trigger the master perk, which then gives immediate healing to you and your team in the vicinity. So having to place the support station in harm's way just to get a 25% or potentially 35% chance of an auto refresh on your cooldown really doesn't make it worth it. I mean, if you think about in this gameplay, how many times I'm able to go down and get myself back up because my support station is in a safe place. Were I to have thrown that out in the enemy's kind of sight, then I'm pretty sure by the time I've gone down, the support station will also be dead and I'll be dead in the same process. So that in itself doesn't really work. And also, again, it kind of goes against the master perk. As I said, if you have the master unlocked, then you will manually detonate the support station yourself to then give immediate healing to you and your team. But if you then have to rely on the enemy destroying it, then A, you'll never manually detonate it, and B, again, you're kind of playing in a bit of a weird way. So really, I don't think the chance mechanic works in this situation. I feel like if it was going to work, then you probably need to, say, put it on to manual detonation as well, so you can at least detonate it and then have a 25% chance for it to auto refresh. Admittedly, if you're then going to detonate it yourself, maybe that chance is a little bit too high. Maybe you drop it down to something like 15%, or maybe you make it so that it can only happen, say, once every, 4th destruction, something like that. But the point is, as it currently exists, I don't find myself in a situation, especially when you can see here just how much I'm able to, face tank a lot of the incoming damage because I know that I've got the safety of my support station. I don't think I'd ever be in a position where I would actively choose to put it in harm's way when I could just hide it behind cover and then just fight like I'm some kind of phoenix that can keep coming out of the ashes. So that is problem number one that I personally think needs to be addressed. However, on top of that, the other issue is the revive time. It is very quick. You can see it here. You've seen it multiple times. it is an issue, alright? It feels cool, it's very cool, but this is just me soloing an activity, and already every time I go down, it's not long before I'm back in the action, and I'm then, you know, blitzing the enemy down. If you were then to multiply this, and then we had, say, a team of 4 Reclaimers, or at least a team of like 2 or 3 Reclaimers with someone else running like a damage-focused build, then it would be so incredibly easy to just ignore effectively any mechanic for any kind of high-end content, endgame content, and of course if you factor that into, say, PvP, then you could definitely have some issues. So I feel like in this situation, the revive timer needs to be lengthened a little bit, so you're not necessarily back up quite so fast, because of course if you are going to have, you know, the benefit of increased healing speed, then at least you need to make it so that there's a little bit of a longer gap, so if someone does down you, say in PvP, they can potentially kill you, but as it currently exists, you know, unless they Rambo straight in the second you go down, then you're probably going to be back up and in their face by the time they approach you. So that is the other issue. So in summary, the Reclaimer set, as it exists, is a very cool concept. Again, I like what they're doing, sort of building on the fantasy, the existing fantasy of the Reclaimer, and of course making it so that if you are going to fully spec into it and you do go 6-piece, then you're going to get something out of it that actually makes it worth your while. That is completely cool. And again, I think the healing speed is fine, and I think the sort of theory behind the chance perk is interesting. I just think the way it's been implemented doesn't really factor in the way you should be playing this set. So I think as it currently exists, the two things that need to be addressed are the chance mechanic and the speed at which you revive. But aside from that, it is definitely an interesting set. So for the time being, that is pretty much it. That's it from me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of the Reclaimer set. And of course, do keep it locked because I will have some more videos for you from the PTS. And of course, once PTS 2 goes live next week, I will then focus on the latter 3 sets. So Deadeye, Lone Star, and Sentry. But in the meantime, I can of course still review the final measure set, so there will be a video on that at some point early next week. Thank you very much for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.